After so many years, hounded by hatred and trapped by fear, I'm in a box. I've got no place to go. If I follow my mind, I know I slaughter my own. Help me, I'm the prisoner. Won't you hear my plea? I need somebody, yeah, to listen to me. I beg you, brothers and sisters, I'm counting on you, yeah.
Peace and love, family. I'm Brother Frank, and this is the Northeast Political Prisoner Coalition. First and foremost, we want to say revolutionary salute to the Uhuru Three. The Uhuru Three were, it was found not guilty. They don't have to spend a second in prison. For 2 years, the United States government, they had an intense investigation on them, and the Uhuru Three, Omali Yesiteli, Penny Hess, and Jesse Neville, members of the Uhuru movement. And but Yesiteli, he was speaking he was giving a press conference, and at the press conference he said that they won because they fought back. And I think that that's very inspiring, that's very encouraging, because that's what we need to do. We need to fight back. On this platform, we focus exclusively on political prisoners, but we relate that to the world that we're living in, the struggles that we have, the battles we have. When we look at the Uhuru Three, we're looking at the fight that we have for our freedom of speech, right? Who is striking back at us, and what ideas are a threat to those who have power over us? So this situation with the Uhuru Three let us know that we have to understand what's at stake, and we understand that we have to commit ourselves to building allies on the international stage. So when an attack hits us, we have a force that is fighting back with us, that is doing what is necessary to make sure that the powers that are attacking us, knowing that we're not alone. Because just imagine the Uhuru Three didn't have people who were supporting them, people who were writing, people who were conducting press conferences. And if they didn't have that support, then the situation would not have turned in their favor. So we need to be inspired by that. We need to take that energy and we need to utilize it in the best way we can. And that's why having our own media is so important, because the Uhuru Three, they have their own website. They have a place where they reside, where they do their work with their community. So they're building a relationship with the community. So when these things happen, now the community comes out, the community says that these are our heroes, these are our supporters, these are our advocates, and we won't accept mistreatment to them. We're willing to take a position, a definitive position that's going to be beneficial to us, because now when they are free, when they're back to being able to do what's correct in terms of advancing their people, we are going to benefit from that. So that's why this Uhuru victory needs to be really internalized as something that's possible, something that's something that needs to be duplicated in terms of fighting back, in terms of getting done what needs to be done today. And speaking about fighting back, doing what needs to be done, our brother Jamil Imam Jamil Al Amin, formerly known as H. Brad Brown. We can't forget about him. We have to do what is necessary. So there's online. There was a number to call, and I attempted to call those two numbers. I didn't get what I wanted to get. I spoke to a friend of mine, a comrade of mine, and the comrade informed me that it's possible that the number has been called so much that is no longer operating. But I'm going to challenge my viewers to write to Imam Jamil Al Amin, do research on your own, see what you can find the information, and share it with me. You know, I'm always providing my information to Fus and Kofa. That's my profile on Facebook, but my telephone number is 347-679-3936. So for those of you who do not know who H. Rap Brown, currently Imam Jamil Al Amin is, he was born in 1943. He is currently in prison in Arizona. So H. Rap Brown succeeded Stokely Carmichael as the chairman of the Student Nonviolent Coordinating Committee, SNCC, and was a prominent figure in the Black Panther Party, a leading proponent of Black power, and a polarizing media icon. Brown symbolized both the power and the dangers for white Americans and for radical activists themselves of the civil rights movement's new militancy in the late 1960s. Brown was born in 1943 and raised in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. In 1960, he joined the Nonviolent Action Group, NAG, and moved to Washington, D.C. In 1964, he became NAG chairman. His activities with NAG soon drew him to SNCC, which was then engaged in voter registration drives in the Deep South. Brown quickly distinguished himself as a charismatic leader and effective organizer. He was appointed director of voter registration for the state of Alabama in 1966 and replaced Carmichael as national chairman a year later. As SNCC chairman, Brown's rhetoric proved more militant and inflammatory than even Carmichael's. At the same time, like Carmichael, he struggled to translate NCC's vision into concrete terms and programs. In large part, this was due to a paralyzing barrage of criminal charges levied by federal and state officials, from inciting a riot in Maryland to violating the National Firearms Act, to illegally crossing state lines to skipping bail. During his firearms trial in 1970, Brown disappeared for 17 months and was placed on the FBI's 10 most wanted list. In late 1971, he reemerged after being arrested on armed robbery charges in Manhattan, New York. Convicted on the last charge, Brown served 5 years in Attica State Prison. While in prison, Brown embraced Islam and changed his name to Jamil Abdullah Al Amin. Following his release, he settled in Atlanta, Georgia, where he started a mosque and operated a small grocery store and community center. Brown currently is in prison. We have to bring him home. I don't know how many people seen the picture of. I don't know how many people seen the picture online, but it was a picture where there was a growth on the side of his face. You know, this is a serious medical situation that we have to deal with. When I say me, I say his supporters, people who admire his sacrifice, his immense sacrifice. You know, that's very serious when you say immense sacrifice, because it's next level, right? It's martyrs, it's political prisoners, it's people who were not afraid to deal with the consequences of their actions because they know what needed to be done. It wasn't enough to see those who fighting and see them in prison and just staying on the sideline, playing a position of a consultant, telling them what they should and should not do. You know, you have to get in the battlefield with them. You have to commit yourself to some training, so some political education, and carry that out and do what is necessary. You know, but everybody does things at their own will and at their own pace. So we have to respect what they're willing to do, right? And then, you know, find ways to encourage them to do more. And that's so important that we understand, you know, Rap Brown, who he is, what he did, and you know, his writings. Some of his writings, die, N-word, die, right? Yeah, y'all know what I mean when I say the N-word. So that was one of the books that he wrote, and that book was very interesting. It was a book that I had picked up, and I had really benefited from it. This book right here that I'm holding in my hand, because that's one thing I do when I come on, is try to have a book that I recommend, so that those who are viewing can get to know the topic a bit more intensely. So this book, Revolution by the Book, deals with a number of topics. He's dealing with it from his position regarding his faith, which is Islam. What stood out to me was a section called "In Your Family." He says, "We have been discussing and will continue to discuss in later chapters the nature of successful struggle as it relates to the oppressor outside of us. Yet we must also be able to struggle against the oppressor inside of us. We must be able to succeed in freeing ourselves from unnatural relationships with rulers, but we must also succeed in more immediate and intimate relationships with and among ourselves." And that piece resonated with me because I thought about what it is to side or be in agreement with the oppressed. Right, you might not do the oppressor's deeds, but the position you take. One position is, how do you deal with our political prisoners? Right, are you against the oppressor, or are you with the oppressor? The oppressor is not going to say that we have political prisoners. The oppressor is going to say those are criminals, those are terrorists, and they're locked up, and they're going to be locked up for as long as we say they should be locked up. You know, for you not to fight against that idea is for you to take the oppressor's position. So I thought that section was very important because it allows you to think about your actions, right? It's so easy to say something, but it's another task to take on a particular task, to carry out a particular idea regarding your everyday life. And that's why that piece in that book was so important, because it really dealt with that. It allowed you to understand the seriousness in what you decide to do and not do. So H. Rap Brown, formerly known, right, as he was formerly known, Imam Jamil Al Amin, right, he needs us, and we have to be there for him. There's always a task that we could take on, but we have to accept that task as something very seriously. We have to look at him as someone who needs to be amongst his people, right? We have obligations when it comes to our captured freedom fighters, our political prisoners, right? Those obligations are political, right? And political meaning the relationship between people and power, right? We have to stand together and decide that, you know, this brother is valuable to us. We are dealing with a number of issues in our community. It's the drugs, it's the lack of affordable housing, it's the lack of proper nutrition, it's our inability to have that strong relationship with our youth, our future, to be able to talk to them, right? Because we don't control what goes on in our community, at least if we're not when I say we don't control it, I'm talking about, you know, the necessary things that we need to develop our community, right? The community itself is under the control of the state, right? We need those resources that the state has to develop our community. So that is exactly where I'm getting at when I say what I say, because we have to accept that role, accept that responsibility, and be able to talk to our community. As I read about the brother, when he came home, you know, he had a community center. He was active in the community. He was doing what he needed to be, what needed to be done. So that's why I say that the brother needs to be with us. That's why we need to accept that responsibility. You know, bringing him, just imagine what that does to our psyche, right? The whole 3-day victory. We know that people organized around that. They had demonstrations. They had rallies. They did what needed to be done. They wrote letters. They stood up. They sacrificed their time. They said that this is a brother that we need to stand in solidarity with. The state is attacking him, and he is one of us. He is one of ours, and we're not going to stand by and allow this to happen. We have a responsibility to do something, and the same approach needs to be taken when we talk about Imam Jamil Al Amin, formerly H. Rap Brown. We need to accept responsibility. For those of you who are not able to see what I have printed, I said write to Imam Jamil at Imam Jamil Al Amin 99 974-555 USP, Tucson, U.S. Penitentiary, P.O. Box 24550, Tucson, Arizona 85734. Right? We need to get letters in, letters of support. Let the letters get to him. I don't know what his physical conditions is exactly, but once we start taking action, right, writing letters to him, doing our research online, looking at what we can find, we'll eventually find it. And then, as an organized people, we share what our findings so that others can do some actions on their own, and then they can share it with others as well. So, what can we do? How can we bring the brother home? Right? We can organize in our community, use our community centers, right? Kwanzaa is right around the corner. We need to set aside one of those days, or a part of the day, when we focus on our principles to political prisoners. Let's talk about the status of political prisoners, who is dealing with what, and what we need to do, and have our children involved. Let them write letters to who they need to write to. Write letters to the jail facility where where Imam Jamil Al Amin is. Write to the warden. Write to whoever is in control. Write to the governor. Tell the governor this brother is going to die in prison if we don't get him home to loved ones. It's nothing like that love from your people, from your community, to let you know that you are appreciated, you are needed, and we need you as long as possible. That love has power. It has deep power, and that's what he needs to come home to. And it's our responsibility to do that. So that's one of the ways, or one of the things we can do, is have the youth involved, have them writing letters, utilizing this time, this holiday time. People are more giving, right? There is depression going on, right? December is suicidal awareness month, or depression month. Whatever it is, it's not a positive thing, but to be aware of something, now you know what you need to do against it. You know how you need to strike back against it. And that is our responsibility. That is what we need to do. We need to stand up. We need to strike back against what is not beneficial to us as a whole, as a group, as a people, as a loving people, a caring people, a people who is informed in their responsibility and their history of fighting back, standing together, and doing what is beneficial to us. And that's why I had to give you the history of the brother, because I wanted you to understand that this brother has been on the front line for quite some time. He was born in 1943, and we're into 2024, and he's still with us physically, right, mentally, right? But we have to do what is best to keep him with us as long as possible, and we have the power to do it. And we need to be confident in ourselves and our ability to um come together and get something happen. So the letters can be written, and also the calls. As I told you, the two numbers that I had did not allow me to get done what I needed to get done. I didn't stop there. I researched some more. I researched a Facebook page, and I called that number, and that number was not uh, a number that was current in terms of being able to get the necessary information. I contacted a brother who actually knew the brother, Imam Jamil. I mean, he gave me two numbers. Both of the numbers I called, I left a message on one number, and the other number is supposed to have been his son number, Imam Jamil Al Amin's son number, but that number did not reach anybody. I don't think the number was working, but I say that to say that the attempts was made to give you the most up-to-date information. So I never like to come online and not do my job, because I don't want to be hypocritical and tell you to do something that I'm not doing. I don't want to lose credibility amongst the people, because once credibility is gone, it's very hard to get back or return to you. So that's why I take that very seriously. So when we talk about the brother or doing something, I just gave you some information about what can be done, letters and calls, right? Because that's what is going to bring pressure on to those people who are keeping him incarcerated, keeping him away from us. They're going to know, oh, he's not alone. He has supporters. And that's why when we did the visual, when we were instructed to come to the jail, Bedford Hills Correctional Facility, and had the visual for those who were being mistreated in that correctional facility. That gave them moral support, and that let the jail know that they are being watched. So who needs to be involved in this particular work? Well, if you're a grassroots political organization, if you claim to be about advancing your people, then you need to be involved. And you know who you are, where you're at, So we need your support, we need your participation, we need your resources, right? They are good lawyers that are on the side of the people. They are good doctors that are on the side of the people. And we need to contact people on the international stage, right? If you have a connection with in the United Nations, bring that up. Let them know that there is a prisoner by the name of Imam Jamil Al Amin, uh, currently in prison, and he's doing a serious time, and he needs to be home, right? The case itself is questionable, and there's evidence that he didn't do it, and now he's going through a serious medical issue. So he needs to be home with us so we can take care of him, so we could do what is necessary to get as much time out of him as possible. So those are the assignments. If you're a part of a Christian organization, right, and you claim to be lovers of the people, you can't claim to be Christ-like, right? Christ was a revolutionary. He stood up for what was correct. He stood against the powers that be during that time. So you claim to be Christ-like, then you need to be on a position of bringing our brother Imam Jamil Al Amin home. You have resources, you have a place during your time of worship. There should be time designated towards those who are suffering, people who are standing up and fighting back, and because of their position politically, right, and socially, the state is attacking them. They are in prison. They are away from their loved ones. You have the ability to raise awareness to people around you, and those people have the ability to raise awareness to these elected officials, right? If you're Muslim, right, this is your Muslim brother. His name is Imam Jamil Al Amin. What is your position on his current state, him being in prison? What are you doing about it? You can do something. You have the resources to do something. There are some good Muslim lawyers. There are some good Muslims who are involved in the medical field. They have resources. They can do something. So we're calling on you to get involved. Uh, contact me at 347-679-3936. Let's talk. Let's organize. Let's exchange resources. Let's decide that we're going to take a position against what's going on and not let our brother die in prison, right? Because we can't get relaxed. We have to understand that this is happening because there's not enough of us being involved. But once there's enough of us being involved, then now we get the results that we want. Right. I just want to provide my phone number for those who are tuning in, 347-679-3936. If you're tuning in right now, and if you cannot get this screen being shown where you're at, because I know some people are looking at this presentation on TikTok. So it's 347-679-3936. Again, that's 347-679-3936. Let's talk. Let's organize. Let's get the necessary support to get this brother home, because he needs to be with us. We need to show him the necessary love. And I know I talked about the Muslim community, the Christian community, and if you are a part of a Jewish community, you should stand for what is correct, and we could use your support because we know that you have resources. You have access to newspapers. You have access to nurses, access to lawyers. We need all those resources to come together. It has to be a consolidated effort. Just like with the Uhuru 3, they didn't rely on just their organization. They was with people outside. They were people on the international stage that supported their cause, that took it up because it was threatening to them. We get comfortable speaking freely until we can't speak freely anymore. So we have to think about what is at stake when we talk about the freedom of Imam Jamil Al Amin, right? Just imagine that this brother is not presented to us, right? And just imagine that some of us forget about him. Imagine the worst happens. What does that say about those who are taking up this task of a better world? Those who are getting involved, those who are part of organizations, those who are organizing people in their community, right? What does it do to their psyche? How does it benefit them morally? That morale is comes into question, right? You don't feel motivated to do anything, right? Because somebody let you die in prison. Somebody did not take care of you while you were in prison, right? Or rather, they're not taking care of who they supposed to be taking care in prison. So why would you want to follow that? What's of benefit is going to be to you to get incarcerated. Now somebody doesn't have your bail money, somebody is not giving you commissary, somebody is not looking out for your loved one. It doesn't look good at all. So that's why this fight with Imam Jamil, it's a lot at stake. For those of us who are involved in struggle, involved in our liberation, right? It's a lot at stake for how we deal with this delicate situation. Right? To do something is to encourage those who are coming after us to stand up and fight back. So during this time of Kwanzaa, when we deal with self-determination, we deal with collective work and responsibility, that's directly related to political prisoners. How are we dealing with them? Right? What's going to come out of discussion? Right? You open up the gifts that you were expecting to get or not expecting to get. You had the conversation with loved ones that you were looking forward to having. You had some great meals and reminisce on some great times, right? But at the fabric of the meeting, the gathering, right? What's at the fabric, right? Shouldn't it be principles, values, right? That's what you're talking about, and that's what political prisoners are. They're value. They have value to us, to our people, to our struggle for liberation. They are those who were on the front lines. They are the ones that decided that, what, I'm going to do something. I'm not comfortable with what's going on. I'm going to take a position against this, and I'm going to write books. Right? You're going to write books like the brother wrote. Right, Revolution by the Book. You're going to write books like Mumia Abu Jamal has written, right? You're going to speak out against the system, and you're going to do that for those who are involved currently, to be motivated, to be inspired. So they are very mindful of what they're doing, and and to not let them get relaxed with how they fight. While I'm mentioning books, right? This is my current reading, and the title. Don't be taken off by the title, right? It's just letting you know how Palestine was formed, right? Who was responsible for doing what, and how that led up to the current situation. It's a good read. I'm looking forward to having discussions with anybody who decides that they're going to pick up the book and read it, so we can expand our minds and decide that we have to take a position. We have to be on a side. We can't get comfortable with what we're seeing. There's always something we can do. Participate in a march, a rally, a demonstration, go to a meeting, support where you're comfortable at, and always challenge yourself to do more. So the brother Imam Jamil Al Amin, he's going through a serious medical issue. Please, let's stay in touch. Please like, subscribe to the channel, share this with as many people as possible. Contact me at 347-679-3936 and let me know what you're willing to do. Let me know that you watched the episode and you want to know how you can help. Somebody somewhere can do something. We all have resources. We all have talents. We all can make a contribution. Let us not forget political prisoners. Let us be clear on what a political prisoner is, so we know that this is why it's important, right? The political prisoners is one who has made and who acts on a conscious political decision to change the present state of property relations. That meaning is very it's very strong and powerful, and wanted to share that with you because education is key to us doing this work. So I'm going to sign off the way I always sign off. Don't let political prisoners die in prison. Don't let political prisoners be forgotten. Y'all know the call. Free them all.
Here I am, after so many years, hounded by hatred and trapped by fear. I'm in a box, I've got no place to go. If I follow my mind, I know I slaughter my own. Help me, I'm the prisoner. Won't you hear my plea? I need somebody, yeah, to listen to me. I beg you,